What up, everybody? I'm Roy the Godslayer in the building. You know, we are back in more of this Diablo 4. If you hear it sound off in the chat, if you're too shy to sound off in the chat, just type the letter G for Godslayer. Let me know you're here. What's going on, everybody? Woo! I've been having a pretty good time playing Diablo 4. Been on World Tier 2, and in the beginning I was having a little bit of trouble in terms of the difficulty jump from World Tier 1 to 2, but I kind of like that I did that, because you know it kind of makes you have to worry about your Theorycraft for your builds and things of that nature a little bit earlier than you normally would, I guess. Speaking of which, I've heard a lot of conversation about the Necromancer class. Again, it is the class I usually main. If there's not a Dark Knight in any game that I play, I usually pick dark classes. You guys know that. So if the game doesn't have a Dark Knight class of some kind, or a Dark Mage of some kind, if it's got Necromancer, I'm playing as it then. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the fact that the Necromancer class does not have a lot of damage output outside of the bone, going down the bone path. But like, and I get that, and yeah, I kind of would want to see more damage output being given to different options outside of just using your bone ability. Be quite honest, and this is my personal opinion, I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be right for scaling or anything like that, but personal opinion, I think that a lot of the Necromancer's survivability skills desperately need more of a buff to them. One, we need a movement skill. Like, our normal little dodge to the left and right is not enough. We need like a movement skill of some kind. I would like to have a movement skill, and this is just me, and if you guys like this, you can click this or whatever, but I wish we had a movement skill where we would sacrifice one of our minions to trade places with them. So like, you know, if I got my minions out there in the battlefield, I can click on one of my minions or cast an ability while hovered on one of my minions, where my minion would die, but I would like come out of their corpse in some kind of way, like, you know, something like that. There's some way to be able to move about faster, because like you're gonna find yourself in situations where you're not gonna have the ability to move out of the way of things, or should I say, you're gonna find yourself cluttered, and there's no movement skill to help you get out of that clutter. Which is why I have turned to building the Necromancer the way I have, and which we'll get into in a second here. But like, my overview of the Necromancer, as far as I can tell at this point, reaching almost level 40 on veteran. It's good. It gives you the actual Necromancer feel. That's one of my problems with V Rising, is that it like V Rising gave you necromantic like abilities, but they didn't fully embrace the Necromancer style. This game actually embraces the Necromancer style. And like I said, I know a lot of people are saying that the minions become like almost useless in the upper game. Of course, my theory crafting is going to be based around using, of course, the minions. When it comes to keeping the class aesthetically what it's supposed to be, is I enjoyed the minion gameplay of Necromancer, so I want to do my best to try and keep that. But it's also the idea of, you know, that's the identity of the class. So if anything, I really do think that Blizzard needs to take a deeper look into the minions, give them more defense or give them more health, or just make it, I guess you could say, make it to where more of the stats of the player are transferred to the minions. Because I know right now, like 30% of the crit strike and something else, I can't remember what the other thing is, but it's crit strike is something else that like the minions take 30% of what your stat is in those two stats. You know, if it means they gotta give, like, if you could give them 30% of our defense, you know, let them inherit some of our defense and things of that nature, you know, or like, you know, like for our scythes, let them inherit a certain amount of damage from our weapon, you know, something like that. I think that would be a lot more healthy for that particular playstyle. But let's get in here and let's first talk about what I am working with. All right, so first is our skill tree. I'm working with the Reap mainly because, again, the enemies in this game tend to ignore, and it's not like they always ignore, but for the most part, when I initiate combat, the enemies for a certain amount of time will ignore anything but me. So I can't rely on my summons to immediately pull hate. So I use this particular skill because it allows me to swing in a wide arc in front of me. And of course it's shadow damage, which I kind of spec myself into, and you'll see that later on in the tree. So I do want to keep shadow damage around. Of course, being able to kill quickly, you know, and so having an attack speed buff, you know, even if it is for just 3 seconds, it's still pretty nice, especially for two-handed weapons that, you know, naturally attack slower. When it comes to Initiate's Reap, the reason why I chose it over Acolytes, which, you know, with Acolytes it forms a corpse, but it can only do so every 5 seconds, right? Which is fine, but I'm using my corpses to deal out damage, and I've come to find just killing enemies is a more reliable way to keep corpses around. So I'll go with Initiate's Reap to be able to instantly kill enemies that's below 5% health. This makes it to where I don't have to worry about, you know, making the fights don't have to last any longer than they truly need to, you know, and I can get corpses down to the ground so I can use them for other things. You know, so this is what this does, is it gives me an option to be more active in the fight if I want to be. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are probably getting twisted about the Necromancer form, is that you're you're not necessarily supposed to be in the fray, you know, like a barbarian might or a druid might or something like that. You're not necessarily supposed to be in the fray in the middle of enemies. You're not supposed to truly be like that as a necromancer. You're supposed to let your summons do the heavy lifting, you know. But this allows me to at least have some sort of it just allows me to have some sort of use once things do get close quarters, you know. And the thing about this is that's the reason why I have it in a more of like a kill quick point. I have like kill quick style things, like just instantly killing after like 5% health. Once you get down to 5% health, because I don't want these enemies to be anywhere near me, and I don't want them to be alive anywhere near me, you know. And you're gonna see more of that as we go down the chain here. So now once we get down to our core skills, I'm using, of course, Blight, another shadow skill. One, because Blight is what I use to initiate combat. I use Blight to initiate combat. So if the enemy is not within, like if the enemy is far off the screen, like if they're on the edge of the screen and I see them before they're able to lock on to me, or if I see that they're like, you know, because sometimes enemies will rush in and I won't have a chance to actually set up anything. But if I see the enemy off in the distance, I can pull them with this move, you know. Or if they end up right in front of my face, I can just, you know, point blank shoot this at them and basically create an AoE damage around myself. But then I also, of course, want this Blight to slow them. So just in case I do hit them with this, let's say they're close up to me, and I hit them with this, it'll slow them by 25%, which will give me a chance to get away from them and allow my summons, of course, to catch up to them and hit them and begin doing damage that way. And then, of course, my minions and myself do more damage to them while they're in Blight. So if I'm getting like swamped by enemies, I can hit Blight on an enemy that's like right in front of me, which will put the Blight down in the AoE around me, basically. And then I can just start swinging in a circle, or like swinging in a circle around myself and do massive damage to all the enemies around me to quickly get rid of them. And I use this in tandem with another ability you'll see in a little bit too. But yeah, this Blight is basically like my starter. This is how I start off combat. Now, when we go down into our Corpse and Macabre skills, I have chosen Corpse Explosion. I know people say that this ability was nerfed into the ground, but Corpse Explosion itself isn't really what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is not only the radius, but turning it into a darkness skill so that it does shadow damage. Because again, the idea is I'm going to be using shadow damage to do a lot of different things. So the idea was to turn it into shadow damage. Now, once I have turned it into shadow damage, of course, I can now pump out, you know, a decent amount of DPS in that. With that, and of course, expanding the radius is always good. So this is going to be my main damage over time skill, is Corpse Explosion, which I need a corpse to do. All right. So again, killing quickly, or should I say, killing consistently and at a good rate, is what's going to allow me to use this. Now, in this area, as you can see, I don't just have. I actually have some side stuff. One is spiked armor. This is just mainly to supplicate, well, not supplicate, but to it adds on to my defensive things. Because once the enemies get within range to hit me physically, when they do, they're going to take more damage. So they'll be taking damage from the AoE damage on the ground, damage from me hitting them, and then damage from themselves hitting me and the thorns reflecting damage back to them. So this was just a must in terms of a weird defensive tactic. And of course, skeletal mastery. If you're using this is just obvious. If you're using a minion build and don't have this maxed out as fast as possible, don't know what's wrong with you. As we go beyond the Corpse and Macabre, when we get to our curse skills, I choose Iron Maiden. And the reason why I choose Iron Maiden is because, one, I can make it to where this thing doesn't even cost essence. What that means is I can spam this. And the reason why you want to spam this move is because sometimes when you set down this ability, which it comes out as a big ass pentagram on the ground, the reason why you want to be able to spam it is because you might not get all of the enemies cursed. Now, if you see here, the curse lasts for 10 seconds. Now, the spot on the ground doesn't last for 10 seconds, but the curse that it applies to any enemy inside of it lasts for 10 seconds. So what I want to do is I want to spread this around quickly so that I hit every enemy within the vicinity of me with this curse. So being able to spam it is actually very nice. Then, of course, and being able to spam it without having to worry about a cost is very, very nice. Now, the reason why I want to spam it and have everybody cursed as often as possible is because I can heal 5% of my maximum life when an enemy dies inside of Iron Maiden. So the idea is I want to create like a big ass ring on the map full of cursed enemies. And then I want to be able to take my corpse explosion and then explode things in a circle around me to where the entire room is just covered in AoE dot. Right? And then myself and my mobs can get to killing things, which will then in turn heal me. Of course, Death's Embrace is another one you want to take. Obvious, because it gives you more damage to enemies that are close to you, and you take less damage from them being close to you. That's just a survival skill, a survivability skill that you should take no matter what your build is, to be quite honest. Same thing with Skeletal Mage. If you are going a minion build, especially if you're going to do what I do. If you're going to do what I do when it comes to minions, you need to have this as well. And then of course, amplified damage. You want to be able to do more damage to cursed enemies, which you're going to be cursing them a whole lot. Because again, you can spam this now. Because there's no need to worry about essence or a cooldown. You can just spam this shit. And that's what you want. Alright. So, we're good on curse skills. We've got all that. We don't need Death's Reach. You deal, because again, you're not really using long range attacks. You're using your Reaping Scythe, which is all close range attacks. So you're not worried about this. So now when we go to Corpse and Macabre, Corpse Tendrils. This is your only cooldown move you're going to have in the build that I'm using. This is the only cooldown you're going to end up having. And Corpse Tendrils is going to basically be... It's going to be your setup. It's going to be your setup to applying vulnerability. Every build in this game with any DPS worth having should have a vulnerability skill. I think that's one of the reasons why like classes like Druid and Barbarian are so considered top tier, because they have ways to literally keep vulnerability on enemies up almost like 100% of the time. And vulnerability is a very powerful skill, because if you read at the bottom of this tool tab, it says that enemies take 20% increased damage. And that's from all sources. So you want vulnerability to be up as often as possible. And with these modifiers here, like this one here, the Corpse Tendrils will slowly enemies for 50%. which is great because I've already got slow on them from, if we roll up here, I'm already got slow on them because of the blight. So that's 25%. And then adding on the 50 here for the tendrils, you know, we've got, and it stuns them. When it pulls them in, as you can see, it stuns. So now I'm applying stun, I'm applying slow. So now I've got a lot of CC going on, which again is adding to my defense because the more they're stunned and slow, the better I can outrun them, and the better, and the least, you know, and the least I'm getting hit, you know. But then at the same time, this corpse tendril is making the enemies in that radius vulnerable, so they're taking more damage from my dot damage from corpse explosion and from my blight. They're taking more dot damage from that because they're vulnerable, so they're dying faster, and which means I got more, of course, corpses on the ground to work with. And so yeah, having enhanced tendrils and plague corpse tendrils is very, very important to this build as well. What I'm also invested in is Reaper's Pursuit, damaging enemies with darkness skills, which basically everything I'm using has got shadow damage except for corpse tendril. Corpse tendril is the only one I don't have. That's in Iron Maiden, of course. But like my explosions and my blight, all shadow damage. So when I do any of those moves, I'm getting damaging enemies with darkness skills, increases your movement speed by 5% for 3 seconds. Now, mind you, both of my shadow damage moves do tick damage. So even when those 3 seconds are over with, if I get another tick from a corpse explosion or from blight, right, both shadow damage skills, any instance of that tick will reset this from 5 again. I mean, from 3. You know, once I get through those 3 seconds, I get another tick of damage from one of those AoE skills. I got another 3 seconds of movement speed. I can literally keep that going over and over again. So, you know, I'm going to be basically mainly putting this one up soon as well as in terms of levels. But I wanted to get this one. I wanted to max this one out because this one, darkness skills, have an up to 15% chance to stun enemies for 3 seconds. I'm already stunning them for 3 seconds with corpse tendril. I'm slowing them with blight, right? I'm slowing them with blight. Yeah, I'm slowing them with my blight. You know, they're being slowed again with the corpse tendrils, and they're being stunned with the corpse tendrils. And so then my dots can also end up stunning them for another 3 seconds. I can end up in a situation where the enemies can end up being chain crowd control, to where I can end up killing the enemy before they're even able to, you know, truly make any actions. Some of these other ones, I'm going to be bringing up, like for instance, doing extra damage to stun and slowed enemies. That's going to be another main one I'm going to bring up. When you damage enemies with darkness skills, they take 2% extra damage from you and the minions for 2 seconds. Like, I'll be, you know, all of this is going up. All of this is going up. But I wanted this one first because it's my crowd control. You know, it's a major part of my crowd control. We're going to come back to this one because Necrotic Carapace actually does work with the build that I have, but the amount of Fortify, which again, Fortify allows you to take a 10% reduced damage. The only problem is it has to be, the Fortify has to be higher, has to be equal to or higher than your current health. And that is just, if you're always at high health, that means you need a lot of Fortify in order to even get the damage reduction. So this is one of those things where it can work. And even with the build I have, it can work, but the generation is too slow. So like there's another ability up here, if I can remember where it's at. There's another ability up here somewhere, I think. That, yeah, Hued Flesh. Your damage has up to a 4% chance to create a corpse. So if I was going to use necrotic carapace, I would only use this in tandem with huge flesh, which I might do if I have points, but that's not the crux of my build. So I'm not going to worry about that until probably the end of it. So we've got, of course, we've got tendrils, of course, and of course our crippling darkness, which is very, very important. And then we go down into our ultimate skills. And as you can tell, I have no ultimate skills. The reason why I do not have ultimate skills is because to me, none of these skills are truly ultimate to me. None of them scream ultimate. And so I'm not willing to sacrifice. I'm not willing to sacrifice a skill slot. I only have 6 skill slots. I'm not going to sacrifice a skill slot for an ability that I'll only get to use every, what, 50 to 70 seconds? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice a skill slot for that. But there are some very useful skills in here, in this area. And that is, for one, Inspiring Leader. If you're healthy for at least 4 seconds, basically having more than 80% life, your minions gain 12% attack speed. That's great. Because again, we're not going to jump into the fray of battle. We're going to wait and let the battle come to us. That's if it does. Because if it does, then we're going to have things that's going to help us kill faster, even when that happens. Like Hellbent Commander. Your minions deal 10% increased damage while you are close to them. So what's going to happen is, let's say I start the battle off like a regular Necromancer would, from afar. But let's say the enemies rush me. Well, when they rush me, so are the minions. The minions are going to come closer to me and start fighting. And when that happens, they're going to get a damage buff. I'm going to get a damage buff as well because of the fact that the enemies are closer to me. And I have, where was it at? I showed it. I had it. Where was it at? I'm going to get a defense buff and a damage buff from Death's Embrace.
Hello.
Because they're going to be basically, you know, running. They're going to be close to me that entire time. So I'm going to be getting that. And so we're going to be pushing this up. We're also going to be pushing this up, of course, as well. And this is just going to be to keep your minions alive. Your minions cannot lose more than 70% of their maximum life from a single damage instance. That's going to be great all around the board. Bonded in Essence. I've tried using this for a little bit. I don't really see the effect of it, but I mean, I might use it. If I've got shit left over, I might use it. But that's not a big deal for me. We're not going to use Golem Mastery because of the fact that I use my Golem for a different reason. Of course, key passives. You got the Ossify for bone skills, Wrathmust Vigor for blood skills, Shadow Blight for your shadow skills. I instead choose Kylan's Edict. If I have not taken damage in the last 3 seconds, my minions will gain 15% attack speed. While you have 7 minions, this attack speed is doubled to 30%. I will always have exactly 7 minions out in any one combat experience, so that's a 30% attack speed buff. And in this game, attack speed is also equivalent to your DPS output. So attacking faster is always better too, as well. The Blight. The Blight is cool. I might choose this, but I'm having very good time with this. I like this, but I might choose this because this seems like it might be a little bit more of a damage buff, flat damage buff all around. Uh, but I am having fun with this. But I would say, yeah, for my build, it'll either be one of these two that I'll. But I'm having fun with this one right now, so I'm gonna keep this one for the moment. Now, when it comes to the uniqueness of Necromancer, the Book of the Dead, I use, in terms of my warrior skeletons, I use Reapers. I use Reapers, and I use Reapers with the second ability. Now, the wind-up attack for them is nice. Being able to bring down the cooldown of that wind-up attack is pretty cool. But it's every 10 seconds. Now, mind you, it could be cool. Be that I do have a very, what's what I'm looking for? CC heavy build. But I want to have an abundance of corpses. That's what I want, an abundance of corpses. Because it allows me to spread my AoE damage a lot better, a lot cleaner. And again, it allows me to place down a bunch of curse so that I can kill enemies a lot faster with my corpses, which will then give me more health. And of course, Reapers have a 15% chance to carve flesh off of enemies, forming the corpse. So we want that. Now, when it comes to the skeletal mages, I was on Shadow, but I have chosen to go with Cold. Because again, they have the ability. Enemies who are frozen or are damaged while frozen by the cold mages, primary attack, are made vulnerable. Again, you want vulnerability in your build. You want as much vulnerability as you can get your hands on. Not only that, but they freeze people. That's even more CC. It's great. I love it. I love it. My minions love it. And Bone, of course, is just for just upping more damage at the cost of their own lives. But I'm not trying to constantly have to spam my, bringing my enemy. I have to spam bringing them back enough already in like heavy fights. So I'm not trying to do that any more than I have to. Now, when it comes to golems, I sacrificed my golem, and I sacrificed it once I got to the iron level of my golem, because I can deal 30% increased critical strike damage, but I lose the ability to summon a golem. Now, this is cool because it ups the crit of my actual weapon. Now, you could go with life, your maximum life, or you can go with your attack speed, but because the percentage level of this is the highest I can come across, I choose this. And of course, minions themselves. Let me see, where is that? Again, because the minions themselves, they inherit a 30% of my critical attack. So upping that technically ups theirs as well. So my theory in crafting this build the way I did, the theory is my survivability is going to be directly linked to my ability to kill enemies in rapid succession, while at the same time CCing them so that they don't have the ability to attack while being damaged. So let's go ahead and take on let's take on a dungeon. Let's play around, take on a dungeon. We're not gonna do any story elements today. Well, we probably will do some story elements later on, but let's first put this dungeon into practice for a little bit. Put the build, I say, into practice. Let's run up here to Menestad. Well, wait. We'll actually come down here to Margrave.
Greetings.
And we'll run this dungeon, and I'll kind of show you how this works. One of the things I've done is I've also changed around. You can see my skill bar. I've changed it into a order by which I would actually use my abilities. Now, mind you, I'm gonna start mainly with this ability. It's gonna either be I start with this ability or I start with cursing them. I generally start with this ability, but sometimes, depending on the situation, I'll start with the curse. After that, the idea is going to be to kill an enemy as fast as possible. First enemy that goes down, my goal is to then tendril the area so that I can apply the slow and apply the vulnerability and stun them all. Now, once I've done that, it doesn't get rid of the corpse that I used to make the tendrils. So the idea is pop the tendrils, then immediately pop corpse explosion, which will drag them all into this corpse explosion, and then have them stun for 3 seconds while they're in it, and they'll be slowed, and they'll be vulnerable to the damage they're taking. And while they're in there, I'm going to be hitting them with blight so that they take another extra amount of damage from the summons, because again, I have that to where they know the summons do more damage to people who are in blight. And the whole time they're going to be carving off more corpses, which will allow me to put down more corpse explosions, which enemies can take more than one instance of the corpse explosion damage. So if you've got an enemy standing in 2 puddles, they're going to be taking damage from both puddles. And then, of course, as I need it, keep summoning or using the corpse to like use my priest to give these guys a buff and keeping that buff going. And of course, when shit hits the fan, I'm using my own regular melee attacks to do what's left. Alright. Let's put this into practice. Our goal is right up there. Alright. Alright. Boom, boom. We're gonna kill. Yank them in. Slay the bandit sentries. Alright. Alright. As you can see, when I use that ability, it doesn't get rid of the corpse. So I can always use the corpse again. Alright. All right. Once again, we start off our combat. Ooh. Let's go down. Blight. Put this down. See how they're stunned? Yeah. Put that down. He was frozen. Death. And again, I'm healing. Off of every kill, I'm healing. Healing. Whoop.
I need more time.
Okay, hold up. Before we go to that boss, let's go up. Vulnerable froze. See that? Beautiful CC. Beautiful amounts of CC. Okay. Alright. Again, we're on World Tier 2. Level 38. Always make sure you okay. And of course, we can just use a potion. It's no big deal to have to use a potion. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let people think that because you have to use a potion, your build is bad. You know, not everything just works out the way you want it to in the end. But and again, as you can see, I don't involve myself any more than I have to. And the aim is to do that. The aim is never to involve myself more than I necessarily have to. Always making sure that I buff with the priest before I move on to another area. Always make sure you buff. And again, it allows you to come in there and do some damage on your own if you want. Ooh.
I need more time.
Come back over here. Woo! Ow! I just walked into that. Okay. So that is closed off. We got one more thing we gotta. Alright. Alright. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're on it.
Says the math doesn't add up right. Says she saw you skulking around the reserves last night. Says we're short 2 boxes of the good stuff. No need to worry. I know you'll make it right. And I know you'll come tell me exactly how. I'd hate to let you go. The wargs like you, my friend. but they like fresh meat too. Think on that.
So somebody out here has been a naughty little bandit, stealing goods. Hey, what up, Omar? I'm actually discussing some theory crafting around the Necromancer in Diablo 4. Right now, I'm kind of like putting that theory to the test in this dungeon right here. Going over all the different skills and stuff that I believe, at least for the build I'm using, to be rather important. Mainly for like survivability. Because Necromancer can be rather squishy. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh no. Mainly because I've heard a lot of discussion about the Necromancer class being rather underpowered in comparison to other classes. Which can be true. Oh, wrong way. But I also believe that you can mitigate a lot of Necromancer's weaknesses, but you gotta be... It's a class that requires a lot more thought into building it to be something solid. Which is why I've always liked Necromancers in any game, because you tend to usually have to think outside the box of the quote-unquote meta in order to make Necromancers work.
I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
Like that. In that one fight you just saw, I lost almost all my minions. Had to get them all back. Had to keep up the vulnerability while keeping up the dot damage. Like when you get to... Necromancer is a juggle between multiple different mechanics all at the same time in a fight. Not to say that other classes are like dummy proof or whatever, but a lot of your other classes have a very distinct way you play them, and that usually doesn't deviate from that. Whereas with Necromancy, I have to be concerned with where these corpses are, because other classes can't see these corpses. Cause like these little corpses on the ground, or these piles of bones and guts, other classes can't see these. Only a necromancer can see these because I can use them. Like for instance, I can use them for all of my skills. You know, and things of that nature. So it's a situation where, you know, I have to basically keep an eye on these guys, make sure they stay alive, and if they don't, bring them back using the corpses. Using the corpses as well as for crowd control and DPS, while at the same time making sure my character is out of the way of dangers and certain things of that nature. Making sure I have this down, because this allows me to heal whenever one of the enemies die. So that's keeping my healing up in battle. So I have like 4 or 5 different mechanics I'm having to keep track of in any one fight, and that to me makes Necromancer fun. Is that whereas, you know, in certain classes you have this one ability that's so good you can just run into a pack of enemies, spam that one ability, and kill a whole pack of enemies. Like a lot of people were showing, like the Whirlwind Barbarian, that one ability was so good you could just keep spamming that ability, basically. That, and I think one of their shouts, and you could just kill miles and packs and packs of miles that way. Whereas with this particular type of build with the minions and in necromancy as a whole, it's a lot more interesting to keep a fight, to survive in a fight, by especially solo with this kind of a build. I go over all of the skills that I currently have in the beginning of this stream, so if you want to go back, you can go back and look at that as well to kind of see the context of what I'm doing here in fights.
I need more time.
Heal my minions.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
What's that? Do I consider DE? What? DE? DS4 window. What? Okay, hold on. What is that? Macro devices and PvP. On a fundamental level, yes. On a fundamental level, yes. If you're like for instance, here's the thing. Let's take like right now, like let's take Diablo right now what we're watching, right? You see at the bottom of the screen I got 6 abilities, right? And these 6 abilities are 6 abilities that I have to press the buttons for them to work. Ah, okay. Okay. And it's like, that's my thing. Like, if I have to hit these abilities myself to make them work, right? And I have to hit them on my own. So that means my decision making is going to be basically intricate. It's going to be integral to whether I win or lose, because my quick thinking and my decision making skills are a part of that skill cap, right? When you start adding in things that can mechanically do things for you, you're taking away your own agency. If I have a button that automatically, if I have a macro that automatically hits one of my corpse explosions whenever there's a corpse near me and it just does it on its own, that is a skill that I myself am not applying, but instead the game is mathematically saying, oh, there's a corpse near him, let's pop that. You see what I mean? And what that does is that takes away from your skill as the player being the contributing factor to your win. Instead, it's a machine doing it for you. So yeah, like, and especially in PvP, I would say it takes away from the fun of PvE, but especially when it's player versus player, yeah, that's one of the main definitions of how cheating is looked at, you know, how it's defined. Because it's not a player versus player skill. The other player who's not doing that, who's not using that, isn't just playing against you. They're playing against you in a mathematical system that's helping you achieve your victory. So it's not a mind game between two players or a skill gap between two players. It's a skill gap between a player and a computer that can process hundreds of commands a second, or thousands or sometimes millions of commands a second. So it's a completely different ball game. You're not fighting a person anymore. You're fighting a computer, you know. And for you to sit behind that and say, well, I won because of my skill. No, you didn't. You won because you had a far higher level of intelligence do this for you, you know. And so, yeah, like, it's in no way, shape, or form good. And I don't even consider it good in any PvE game. Like, again, why do you play video games if you want the game to play for you? I mean, just on the fundamental, the aspect, again, the fundamental aspect of playing a video game. Why would you buy a video game to have the computer play it for you? You know, like again, it's one of the things that I love about the Necromancer class as a whole in any game is that it requires a lot from the player to make it work. Because you're not just given a big sword and a bunch of defense and say go run in there into a pack of mobs and just swing like crazy. You have to actually think about what the hell you're doing, because you will die. You know, and that's the cool part about it. You know, like, and it's one of the reasons why me and Snake, we upped our world tier to world tier 2. Everybody keeps saying that, you know, going to world tier 2 is a detriment because you want to speed run to the end game. Well, I don't want to speed run to the end game. I want to enjoy Diablo in its fullest. I'm not trying to speed run to the end game so I can have all the end game stuff faster. I want to be able to truly master the class that I want to main, you know? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like when I played Destiny 2, even though I played on PC, I use a PS4 controller. And that's just because when I play shooters, I never could get used to the mouse and keyboard style of shooting. So I'm used to the the controller style. And that's what I saw. I saw a lot of people going in about the whole, controller issue where there are certain controllers that are now considered cheating if you use the certain types of controllers and stuff now. So it's like, and controllers nowadays are getting pretty wild. I ain't gonna lie, the amount of things that are coming out with controllers are pretty. And yeah, you're right. Like mastery through actually playing a game, it's a far more fulfilling thing when, because again, one of the main reasons why the subject of this stream is what it is because I saw so many people online talking about how, oh man, the Necromancer class is too weak for end game, and it's if you're not going the bone setup, then you're just not going to be able to do anything. Like that's not true. Yeah, some things are underpowered. I do believe that your minions die faster than they should, especially when you spec into them so highly, and then they still die a little bit. They still die kind of fast. I get it, but it's like, it's one of those things where that to me that's a challenge. When I hear shit like that, oh man, minion builds can't work in the end game. Shit, that's a challenge. I'm gonna make it work in the end game. So what I do is I start thinking out the box. How do I use certain abilities that people think are bad? Let me see. Does that ability actually synergize with certain stuff? And if it does, let me see how it actually. I don't just throw things together and then be like, hey, I'm gonna come up with a build. Like right now, I showed the build at the beginning of the stream, and now I'm putting it into practice solo on World Tier 2. In a dungeon right now. And so it's like I want to show that these builds, you can come up with builds that aren't the meta. Because the meta is so boring in games. I can't stand when people go meta. They get meta hungry. And meta hungry makes games so boring because it pigeonholes you into one thing. And as an artist, as a story writer, as an artist, if there's one thing I can't stand is my creativity being stifled. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, like, in the beginning when I started really digging in on Destiny and started really talking, about the things that really pissed me off about Destiny, I got a little bit of I'm not a big channel, so I can't say I got a lot of pushback, but I got some pushback from the occasional viewers that really didn't take into account, like, man, I played thousands of hours of that game, and it's like Destiny 2 it's got some of the best potential when it comes to the looter shooter genre, but it doesn't take advantage of anything. All that money and it just doesn't take advantage of nothing. And it's so quick to pigeonhole into like Destiny's PvP. I wanted to get more into it, but I couldn't because it was like, if you're not running meta builds, you're gonna get trashed on by everybody who does. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, creativity is stifled in the PvP. And then in PvE, shit is so mundane that it doesn't even matter what build you run in PvE. You can kill everything and anything with the most trash of shit. Which is why I kind of like how Diablo does it. Because even in the beginning, your builds do kind of matter. Yeah, man, like that meta stuff, dude, is like, and again, it's based on that thing of, oh man, the streamers are using it, so it's the meta now, and it's like, and I understand why streamers do it. They do it because, again, it's their job to entertain. It's their job to come up with new crazy shit for people to see and to be entertained by. So I understand why big streamers do it, but again, it's a double-edged sword. It's entertaining to see these cool new metas, but it's also stifling when at that point everybody in the game starts using the same meta. So now, you know, what was once a build that you enjoyed actually giving you some results, now it doesn't. Not because the build is bad, but because everybody else is now using that meta stuff. So now your build doesn't work anymore against them because of that, you know. So it's like, you know, and we've gotten to this thing to where now we think like that. We think if it ain't meta, it's not good, and that's not the case, you know. It may not be as efficient as meta, but it doesn't make it any, you know. But like, you know, yeah, there is a such thing as trash builds, but we've gotten to this point where there's no middle ground. It's either meta or it's trash. And it's like, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? There's nuance to a lot of this stuff, you know. And that's one of the things I found about Necromancer, is that there's nuance to the way you can play this class. I'm just leaving all kind of loot on the ground. Look at me. Okay. Yep.
I need more time.
Now look at that. Look at that. My minion's still alive. Like it's not. It's. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fun and efficiency aren't the same all the time, and what you get is you get these guys who. Is that a legendary? Did I just get a legendary ring? Hold up, guys. Hold up. Hold up. I think I just got a legendary ring. Did I just get... I sure got a legendary ring. Loop of the Umbral. Oh, man. Damage to stun enemies. Yes. Maximum minion life. Yes. Critical strike. Yes. Alright, let's see which one of these rings we're going to replace. Because we got to replace one of these bad boys. Yeah, we're gonna obviously. Yeah, we're gonna replace that one. No. Yeah. There we go. What do we got here on pants? These pants, they up abilities that I'm not using, so I'm not gonna use that because I do want to keep that corp explosion. What about our chest piece? I don't use blood skill, but it does plus 5.5% skill damage on my darkness skills. Yeah, they're considered exotics, but they also they're like the first level, because then you get like later on you're gonna get ancestral legendaries sacred legendaries. So there's even levels to the exotics in this game. Yeah, that gives me darkness skill, because like my AoE damaging ability is a darkness skill. So I want that. Hell yeah. Let's put that on. And it gives me extra armor on top of that. Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and throw that on right there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I also got this legendary scythe on my back. That's why that scythe looks so awesome. So now I have a legendary scythe. I have legendary boots. I have a legendary necklace and a legendary ring now. All right. I couldn't even see what was happening to them, but they were just dying. I know that much.
I need more time.
Oh yeah, I got like, cause like again on my if you look right here, I've got legendary scythe, I got legendary feet, and you can have like multiple you can have all kind of legendaries on. I got a legendary ring on and a legendary amulet. Yeah, you can have like a full equipped legendary setup. And then there's actually a tier above legendaries. There's things called uniques. And they're like where you have legendary, then you have a ancestral legendary, and then you have it's regular legendary, sacred legendary, then ancestral legendaries. Then after that, you have the highest gear you can find, or the rarest gear, which are called unique. And yeah, you can have an entire setup of nothing but unique on, or all legendaries. Yeah, it's not like Destiny when you get one unique, you can only have one legendary armor and one legendary weapon. You can have like multiple legendary stuff on. Murder? Murder? Murder! Okay. That way. Hey, look. Check this out. The main thing about, at least with Diablo, I'll say this much. With Diablo, you can pay that one price, and you get, just for the regular price of the game, $70, you get a whole bunch of content. If you're in, like for instance, if you're down to grind, like I started a clan in this game. Me and my homeboy Snake. You've seen him a lot in my videos. We know how we go. We kick back, we laugh, we talk, we play, and me and him, we play survival games a lot. So the grind isn't really the way we look at games is, if I can pay $70 and I can get hundreds of hours of fun, whether it be I'm going up in ranks, or whether it just be I'm grinding for exotics, or I'm grinding for, I say, like legendaries, and just tinker with the build, we find fun outside of just am I constantly going forward with something? And like, you know, if you're down to just, especially in this game right here, because like me and him have been playing pretty much, and he has been enjoying it as much as well. So like, you know, it's not like, you know, if you wanted to play and you wanted to join up, the game has cross-play, so it wouldn't matter what system you're playing on, you could play with us. And again, like, you know, you always know, everybody's down to play with us, man. Like, it ain't like I got some kind of like secret society that I'm running in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you want to get down and play, because again, that's another thing too. Like, it'll also depend on, like, if you play solo. Like, I can play games solo and be good, but I also know that playing with people enriches the experience. So like, I love the game's story. I love the game's art style. There's 5 classes right now. I would say look up the classes you like, and see the class you might like. Like right now, Snake plays Rogue, and he's really digging Rogue. If you want to go the Oonga Boonga style, you got Barbarian and Druid for that. If you want to play more of like a Mage style, you got, of course, Necromancer and Sorcerer for that. You know, and they're coming out with new classes anyway. They're supposedly coming out with another class in July, I think, because they haven't even come out with Season 1 yet. Season 1 comes out in July. So this is just the base game, and the base game, you can get to 100 is the max level, and I've been playing now for like 3 days, like 7, 8, 9 hours. You see my streams. You know, my stream is like, you know, my streams be like 8, 9 hours playing this game, and like for like 3 days I've only made it to level 38. So like, you know, there's a lot of content to go through just for the base price, you know. And again, playing with your friends, you know what I'm saying, jumping on Discord and, you know, us just chilling, talking, playing, you know, it'll further enrich that experience. And then this game has scaling. So like, for instance, Snake is like level 30 and I'm 38, right? When me and him go into the same dungeon together, the enemies on his screen will be level 30, but the same enemies that I'm hitting, that he's hitting, will be 38 to me. You see what I mean? So no matter what level we are, we'll always be useful to each other in the fights. So let's say you come into the game with us and you start off at level 5. But what's going to happen is me and Snake can join you in a dungeon, and while all the enemies are level 5 to you, they're level 38 to me. You know, but we're fighting the same enemies. So that way it doesn't look like I'm carrying you. It doesn't feel like you're being carried. You know, you're contributing to the fight as much as everybody else, regardless of your level. So there's no feeling of being left behind. You see what I mean? You'll never have to feel like you're being left behind because you started late or something like that. Oh, no. Oh, no. And again, you already know what I'm about to say too. Don't worry about none of that microtransaction shit. You still get cool gear. Like all the gear I got on right now, I can look at my character. You know what I'm saying? We can look at my character right now. Hold on. Like, we can look at my character right now. Like, ah, shoot. Like, you know, this is gear I'm wearing at level 38. I got like 3-4 legendaries on. I don't know about you, but I think I look pretty damn good right now. I ain't have to buy no cosmetics. I ain't bought no cosmetics. I just paid my $70 and started gaming. You know, and this is the, you know, again, this is just gear at the lower end of the levels, you know what I'm saying? So I still got 2 more world tiers to go. I gotta go through world tier 3 and 4 after this. So, you know, when it comes to monetization, none of the game is, you know, like none of the game's main functions are being hidden from you or locked behind paywall. It's very weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's very weird. A game like this coming from Blizzard, after all the shit we've seen come out of Blizzard, it's very weird that Diablo is such a pocket-friendly game in that sense. I mean, there is microtransactions. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like they're making you pay for storage space or things of that nature. Like, you know, everything that you do in game or for in-game power is in game. You know, none of it's pay to win in that sense. So it's very, you know, it's very weird. But then again, Diablo is like Blizzard's baby, so I don't think they would want to fuck up the Diablo franchise with that. Although they did do it with Immortal, that's what made this game like. But I think when they saw that they couldn't pull it with Immortal, they were like, okay, well, we can't pull it with Immortal. We sure as hell can't do it with the main game. You know, I don't want to give Blizzard too much credit. You know, but they did see that. Oh yeah, we fucked up with the mobile game. And again, like, you know, it's something that you can drop into, and, you know, regardless of what system you play on, you can just let us know. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they got TeamSpeak built into the game, I believe, as well. So, you know, even if you don't feel comfortable with like being on Discord and things of that nature, I think they got TeamSpeak in the game as well, if I remember correctly. So, like, you know, there's it seems to be a game that is trying to get people to be interactive with each other, at least. Our clan is called Domini Sanguinis. It is Latin for Lords of Blood. I got a whole backstory for the clan. If we look right here, I have a whole little backstory as to what the flag means. I actually need to manage and place snake here. Oop, no. 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 Yes. There we go. So we've got, you know, like I have a little, like I said, I had the clan set up. And again, once you get in and you start getting into the grind and you start getting, well, once you start getting into the nuance of, okay, we go out, we grind for gear, we go back to the city, we break all our gear down that we don't want, we sell all the gear that we don't want. We go through some of the storyline, get some more of the story. Then we go back out and do some more dungeons, grind them out. And the dungeons are technically, they're procedural generated. So the dungeons layout will always change every time you go into them. Even though the main objectives of the dungeon will remain the same, but the layout of the dungeon will change. So there will be a certain freshness to the dungeons. And then once you get into World Tier 3 and 4, you'll start doing nightmare versions of the dungeons, which are they're basically the dungeons, but they're mixed up with like new modifiers and to make things a little bit more difficult. So it's a climb up. Like I can't even get to World Tier 3 until I can get to level 50. Then I have to do the capstone dungeon to get access to World Tier 3, which is the 3rd difficulty level of the game, Nightmare. And then you gotta do the same thing for World Tier 4, Torment, which is currently the final level of difficulty in the game. And as you go up in those tiers, you get, of course, better, because you're gonna start getting regular legendaries in your 30s to 50s. But then you'll start getting ancestrals once you go into World Tier 3. Or I think sacreds once you get into World Tier 3. Then when you hit World Tier 4, you'll start getting ancestral legendaries and uniques in your World Tier 4. So the grind isn't just to get levels. You have to get to level 50 before you can even try to do the dungeon that will give you access to World Tier 3. So it's a situation where you're grinding with a purpose. Even though there's a lot of it, you're grinding with a purpose. Oh. So there's the other one.
I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
He feared me off. And you're dead. Alright. Death. I think we completed the dungeon. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Let me make sure I searched every nook and cranny. Let me get all this gold. Is that right? Death. Death.
Not ready yet.
And destruction. Death and destruction.
I need more time. essence.
Oh yeah, that's right. Events will also take place inside of the dungeons. Because you get world events that happen outside, but they also can happen inside dungeons as well. Which I thought was cool. Alright, so now we completed the dungeon. Oh. Alright, let's teleport out of here.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright. We need to head to Kilverside. I mean, again, I'll say this much though. If you're really thinking about, pulling the trigger on this game, don't let the idea of I need to rush through the game. Don't let that be a deciding factor for you. End of the day, just take it slow at your own pace. And hang with folks that that'll help you out. I have like with Snake, I went back and and hung with him because I still get experience for fighting the mobs and stuff like that and doing dungeons. So it's like it's not like it's not like you're gonna be a hindrance to anybody starting late or anything like that, and then there's no need to have to rush. Because even if you're doing dungeons that I've already beat, I'm still going to get the completion of the experience for completing the dungeon. I just might not get the extra reward for beating it the first time. One second. All right. So now that we've gotten a little dungeon done, and this is mainly the gameplay loop that you'll be going through. You'll do a dungeon, you'll run back to the main town, you'll run over here to your blacksmith dude. You'll repair your armor if you died. You only lose durability on armor and stuff like that if you die. So, you know, as long as you're not dying, you don't have to worry about this. But, you know, you'll be salvaging your gear. I would say salvage your rares, but sell your magics weapons. Sell the blues and greens, but salvage your rares. That way you can have a steady income of both materials. Because you will be needing those veiled crystals. Things of that nature.
Anything breaks, the forge is hot.
And then come over here. And then sell.
Well struck.
There we go. All right. And now we're ready for another dungeon. Matter of fact, let's do this one up here. Yeah. All right, Ministad. The goal here is I'm gonna try to make it to level 40, well, level 39, and then we'll do some story to kind of finish off this, kind of round out the stream. You know, I talked about a little bit of balance, a little bit of Necromancer theory crafting for my build. Show it off kind of basically what my build's doing when I'm playing. Give you 2 examples in a dungeon on World Tier 2, the highest available I have right now. And I'll do this again for World Tier 3 and 4. I'll go back and revisit, you know, the discussion of my Theorycraft on Necromancer so you can see how I apply it to the other levels as well. Oops. Oh, hey! It's a world event! Yay! Look at there.
Greetings.
Hello.
Thank you.
Greetings.
Look at that. People over here giving each other greetings. Look at that. Civilized people. We're civilized around here. Death! Death! Oh, it's Altar of Lilith. Strength stat has been increased by 2 for all characters. That's another thing too. The statues of Lilith, you want to get those because they give you basically stat boost to every character you ever create on the account, which is great. Oh, that's nasty. Pulsating juice. Look at that. Pulsating. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's juicy. That's nasty. Oh. 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 Oh, that's horrible. That's nightmare fuel. That is nightmare fuel. Omar, are you looking at this? Oh, that's nightmare fuel. Look at all these tentacle. That's nightmare fuel. Oh, that is. Ooh. Oh, that is fucking horrendous. Oh, that's horrendous. Okay. I have no idea what kind of enemies I'm gonna be seeing in here. I got a feeling they're gonna be creepy crawly.
So cold.
Why is there so many legs and shit? Like, why is there so many legs everywhere? Ow! Okay, he appeared right next to me. That's why I was wondering. I was like, what in the hell? He appeared right next to me. Dead men and all kinds of... Oh. Okay. Woo!
I'm not ready yet.
Some big boys. There's some big boys in here.
ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Wonder where he was running off to. Alright, now that I've done that.
I need more time.
I just can't handle the onslaught of death. Alright, let's go ahead and grab this since we're over here. Ooh.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. Get out of here. Get out of here. The fingers. Ugh. And digits coming out of people's heads.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
Oh, wow. There we go. Okay, I was like, hey, wait a second, why did he go way out there? I messed up. I should have not. Well, I didn't die, but I shouldn't have engaged him. I should have waited and summoned my minions from here, then engaged him, but I didn't do that. Like a bum. Like a bum. That was my fault. Like a bum. Why is everything so nasty?
I need more time.
Froze. Oh dear gosh. Death. Oh, you would. There we go. Slain Knight. Tentacles.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
We came here to purge this evil, but now I can't leave my friends here. Not like this. We can't do it alone. The only way out of this is to fight.
It's not much, but I hope it helps.
Here. Something for your troubles. You deserve this. Never seen anyone fight like you.
Wow. That was a lot of loot. That was a lot of loot. Okay.
I cannot carry more.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to get rid of some of these greens. Some of these regular greens. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And get rid of you. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, we getting up there. We.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet. cannot carry more.
I am running out of space, people. That's a lot of life. Although for this build, I really would want a higher intelligence, to be quite honest. I mean, crit chance is cool, but just having that base skill damage, I think might be cool, might be better. The crit chance is okay, but I don't know. What do we got for arms? Are we damage over time? +1 to blight. That's +13 to intelligence, though. Yeah, we're gonna need to put that on. And +4% to crowd control enemies. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to just. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, we just gonna. Okay, hold on. I do need to get rid of. Okay, so I'm back here again. Okay. The Tomb of Thesbach. Path of Blood. Wait, what? Oh, I just totally. Oh my god, I just totally went past it. Alright, let's before we go in, let's go ahead and use this ability point we got here. What we want to put it on actually. Resurrected Malice. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh.
I'm not ready yet.
Ow.
I need more time.
There we go. War sickle. Alright, drop you. Resurrected Malice. That is some nasty stuff. Oh, there's some nasty stuff in here. Alright. So let's take a look at our overall gear we got. We got a lot of stuff we can go ahead and we don't have any legendaries this time around. We didn't get any, but that's fine. That's fine. We're gonna right now we're gonna take a look at what we can put on. All right. I think we have done it. We have explored every piece of the cave. Let's get out of here. Again. Oops. We head back to the main city of Kilvashad. And our goal is to first break down our rares. Sell that.
Father, keep you.
Oh. Getting some lagalicious right there. We're getting some lagaliciousness. All right, we're good. We're good. Yeesh. All right. All right. Let's go do a little bit of story here. Not much, but I figured we spend the last 30 minutes or so doing some story beats. Be that you don't want to totally neglect the story because you need to beat the story in order to get to the higher tiers.
life.
Hey, we got a legendary again. What we got? Sword, marble sword of reanimation. Your skeletons gain increased damage while alive. Up to, oh shit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull that off. I'm gonna see if I can pull that off. That, yeah, that's good. That's actually good. I'm gonna see if I can pull that off of that sword and use that on my build in some way. There you go.
There's a shrine west of here. Bears a relic. I'm told it takes on your sin. Weighs you down, body and soul. Beats the hell out of you. It'll cleanse you. Prepare you to stand before the Father. I hope you don't have many regrets, friend. This kind of thing is a lot deadlier for some than others. Watch out, alright? I'll find you at the end. No. I'm not ready. Not by a long shot. Even if I could survive the trail, there's no telling what would happen in the end. You, though, you have a solid chance. Nothing good. Lost more than a few worthy soldiers to it. But it'll clean you up for Inarius. Rare honor for an outsider. If you can call it that. I had my doubts. The priests were always going on about the return of Lilith. But now she's here. Just like they said.
Fields of Judgment. Murder!
Hark, creature of darkness, for you have wandered beyond the reach of the light. Lift your sins, breathe deep the cold air. The path to redemption lies before you, if you have the faith to walk it.
Bring the altar, idol of the faithful, to the altar of martyrdom.
I need more time.
There you go.
The sting of your wounds. Let the ice into your bones. Welcome your pain. For the agony of the flesh is the first cleansing of the soul. Make your faith stronger than any hurt.
Okay, so now we're bringing this altar. Well, the idol.
is towering over you. Feel how small you are. Embrace humility. Accept your place in worship to the Father, for he has shown us the way.
All right. Our pilgrimage continues. Oh, that's just clobber. Clobber.
The end nears, pilgrim. Look into yourself. Find your faith. Feel how it fills the void within you. Remember, you are nothing without faith. Hold fast to the light and remember.
So, I like playing cards. Doesn't make me a sinner. But that bribe. Good soldiers died on account of what I did. Is that the kind of man I am? The kind I'll always be. Damn it. I'm praying. Why isn't this working? Ah, you made it. That makes one of us at least.
You heard from Father?
I will, soon. But enough about that. You're about to meet Father Inarius himself. Not everyone comes back, you know. You'd better. I owe you a stiff drink.
Kneel before him, and remember, you are small, wonderfully small. No, it's not about kneeling. It's about wonder. Oh, the light itself, divinity itself, radiates from that room. Though my flesh is cold and numb, my spirit is warm with reverence. What can we do but kneel? And so he was, until the sweet poetry of the prophecy rang out. To divine its message, he pilgrimaged deep into Sanctuary's heart. To meet? Well, I shouldn't say.
Meet who?
It pains me to withhold the truth of his light, but I sense it in you, pilgrim, so I shall tell you. He went to speak with the first of his children, Rathma, the prophecy's true author. He emerged armed with sacred conviction, a holy battle at the center of the prophecy to be won by his blade. He has meditated here for years and years ever since, readying to meet fate head on.
How do you know so much?
How do you know the warmth of the sun, the love of your mother, the beauty of a song? His presence is infectious. It takes hold in the soul. We are a void without faith, an empty well. The pious fill their cups with prayer. Mine overflows with his light. So near, so pure. I am changed. I am nothing. I am better. Isn't it beautiful?
Opened up the sky and created this sanctuary from the bounty of the world stone. And I cast down from the heavens, but prophesied to return. Our father Inarius will ascend to the heavens, and on his wings we will be redeemed.
The father points the way to the light, but the order of the Knight's Pennant was founded to carve out our path to it. Is there more? Is there other ones I didn't see? Ah, yes. The falling sickness claimed her childhood, but the father gave her new life. The Reverend Mother Prava is but one of his many blessings. The world is a temporary one. We were born into sin and corruption of sanctuary, but it is only through the good works of the Father we shall be lifted to the heavens above. Okay, so there's no other ones to... Okay. The artistry of this place is immaculate. I love this. Alabaster Monastery. It's a beautiful place.
This is how you choose to approach me.
Forgive this intrusion, but...
Tell me what you need.
I must traverse the Black Lake, and that cannot be done without your blessing.
If I've learned anything during my time here, it is that what we're looking for, and what we need, are rarely the same thing. I once thought I could find an end to this war, but there has been no resolution, only more pain. Everything I've done has pulled me further from home, from the place I need to be. This world we made was born from the impossible, and yet, like its creators, it rots from the inside.
I don't... Lilith has entered the ancient city. With your blessing, I can pursue her.
Your kind are weak, and this world has been wasted on the crusades of the unworthy.
I can stop her.
This audience is concluded.
Back to Corvalar.
Damn. Hey, your boy look good though. I ain't gonna lie. He's got that cool ass angelic warrior look. This audience has concluded. That deep ass voice.
Your kind is weak.
Yeah, he didn't seem very welcoming.
No, no, no. You heard him, but you did not listen. His voice is music, a symphony of light. Look beyond the words themselves, and you will find truth.
All right, let's head back. We were not given the blessing. Let's hope there's another way we can get it, or Prava will let us have it. Even though Inarius was being a dick right now. Kovala.
Blessed are those who bask in the light. Let our faith be our armor, against the encroaching darkness. Ah, you've returned. Come, let us speak inside, out of the cold. From the Father's voice to my ears, a spear of light piercing hatred's heart. First Lilith, then the Primes. He will deliver us from the eternal conflict. Vigo and I had a good conversation when he returned. He will do his penance. Trust that he is in good hands. Penitence. In the heavens' eyes, creating humanity was a sin. They cast him down. Now he seeks redemption and the chance to go home. As prophesied, slaying Lilith is that chance. When he ascends, so shall we all. Yet you stand before me unscathed. I know his ways. That is approval enough for me. In the name of the light, I bless you. May the light flow through you and keep you from corruption and sin. Our victory is prophesied in the heavens.
All right. So I think now we just have Wayward. But we have to find Amon-Rellik after her mother died. But what we'll do is I'll head on out doing more side quests and stuff. And getting some more stuff done in terms of side quests, get some more leveling out of the way. I'm almost level 40, so I want to go ahead and try and knock out some levels later on. And the next one, we'll try to make it a little bit more story orientated and try to push through a lot more of the story. Be it that they say that you should reach tier 2 at level 50, and so I'm about 10 levels away from that. So we're gonna go ahead and try to like push through the story next time, but I want to get some levels under my belt first before we do that. Thanks guys for watching again, for hanging out with me. Amon-Rellik the God Slayer, Amon-Rellik Gaming. We are out of here.